Welcome to Reaper Life. In this series, we're going to be following the adventures of me and 5 of my guildies through a 1 to 20 Reaper life. This series is going to have a little bit different of a feel than my other series. First is because this is the first series that I've ever done where it's featuring an entire party. Most of my series in the past have been about my builds or the fun of running through like a new race or a new class. Another thing that's going to be different about this series is that I'm going to be doing an intro separate from all the quests. And the intros that I'm going to be doing will be in sort of more real time. I'll be doing the intros right when I'm posting the videos. Whereas like this first episode that I'm going to show you, we actually did this a week ago. So I'll be able to respond to some of the comments on the channel in more real time. And I also, speaking of the comments, I want to say, like, I really appreciate the awesome response that you guys gave to the trailer that I made for this. I had so much fun putting that together. I have so much fun putting all these videos together and sharing them with you guys and talking with you guys in the channel. But this one, all of us that are part of this series are really excited to share it with you. But another thing that's going to be a little bit different is that there's not going to be a lot of personal narration during the quest because I'm really focused on the group and what we're doing and doing these higher scale Reaper quests. Some of them are pretty intense, so I'm really focused on what I'm doing there as opposed to narrating like a lot of my quest videos. Like I'm showing you like here's what I'm doing, here's how to do it. So it's not going to have that same kind of a feel. But here in the intros, I'm going to be speaking directly to you. So in the trailer, I introduced the 6 party members. And I included all the past lives that everybody had, or the number of them anyways, and the number of starting Reaper points, because I really want to put this series in context. I always want to be very real in my videos about, this is the context of what we're doing. So some of these players, like Syax, for example, he's like triple everything completionist. Not racial yet, because that just came out. So I want you to understand that that's some of the context of what's going on here. Whereas like Little Mama, for example, has very little in terms of past lives and starting Reaper points. In this first episode, we're going to be doing the Kobold's new Ringleader on Reaper 6 Skulls. Now, we're starting at level 2 in the series. Is it level 1, like I showed you in the Dragonborn series, just racing through level 1, just doing a couple quests, invis running, stealthy repossession, haberdasher, boom, level 2. You don't even, it's within minutes you're level 2. And really, my goal since Reaper has been out is just to try to get to level 4 as fast as possible, because that's when you get your Reaper points. And so that's another important thing to consider when we're doing this, when you're watching this video, is we're level 2. We don't have access to any of those Reaper points. All those benefits you get from your Reaper points, they don't kick in until level 4, so we got nothing. And in this video, like, it's level 2, I don't have any level 2 gear. I got like a shield, a weapon, and a necklace of contemplation on for like 10 false life, and that's it. Like, I have next to no gear on. You're going to see me die a couple times in this first episode, and you're going to see me die a lot throughout this series, and that's going to be another thing that's different. Like, you don't see me die too often in my videos, and it's not because I edit those out. Most of the times I don't. I don't die when I'm trying to make a video. I did in my true first life occasionally. Reaper mode is a whole new challenge. I want to say a few words about each of the party members. I asked all of them, if they would like me to say something about them during the intro. And so I'm just going to start in the same order that the trailer starts with. So with Little Mama, she started playing and became VIP in the early days of DDO back in 2007. And played solidly for a few years, but then due to some real life stuff, for the next 6 years was on and off and playing very casually. But then returned more consistently last year in 2016. And like so many returning players, found that so much of DDO has changed. So she just had to revisit everything. And there, at this point in the relearning the game, she hasn't even done all the new quests yet. She has some characters that have much higher amounts of like past lives and stat tomes and Reaper points, etc., than Little Mama, but she chose this tune to represent her in Reaper life, not only because this is a very fun personal flavor tune for her, but she also feels that it represents the returning player who wishes to experience the new DDO and the camaraderie of the return of the group dynamic that Reaper brings. She really enjoyed the old group dynamic that was present in the earlier days of DDO, and so she feels like that the Reaper experience brings back that balance and fun to the game for her. And so she wants you to know that she's in that place of rediscovering DDO. Okay, moving on to Inamorata. Started playing in 2010, but was out of the game for 3 years, from 2013 to 2016, so also coming back last year. She was a longtime fan of the Angel of Destruction Favored Soul build, but doesn't really feel that's a viable build anymore. And so she's somebody else who's among 3 players in this group that was out of the game for a long time. And that's all of us want to empathize with that returning player experience. DDO is an old game, and there are always people coming back, and coming back can seem overwhelming. There can be so much new that has changed, so much new content, enhancements changed, all these new past lives, reincarnation, Reaper mode, all this stuff. So, all of us want part of the theme of this series to sort of be reaching out to some of those returning players. And I know that on my channel, there's a lot of you out there that don't play the game anymore and that sort of watch my videos to sort of keep in touch with DDO, and some of you sort of, hope to someday or think about maybe someday coming back. So some of this is for you guys too. Moving on to Jimmy's. He's been playing DDO for many years, but not continuously. He works a lot, and he plays other computer games and board games, so he's not a hardcore DDO awesome player, he says, but just an average long-time player. Nimvin has been playing since late 2010, and he's just coming back from a 3-year break in the game, so he's just been back for a couple of months. And he really wants to show people that high skull Reaper questing isn't hard and can be worth it and can be fun. So even if you've been away for a few years, it shouldn't intimidate you. Even if you're a silly gimp like him. Those are his words. I'm not calling him a silly gimp. And that's important to all of us too. That he and I especially have been talking a lot about how we feel there's this sort of mysticism in the community about how like higher skull Reaper quests are impossible to do. We're only a handful of months into Reaper, so we're going to look back a year from now and just laugh at this stuff probably. But right now we see so many people still doing like 1 and 2 skulls. But these higher skull quests are very doable. If you have a balanced party, you work together as a group, you can do them. And I'm not trying to give the impression that a bunch of first lifers can go into Reaper 8. You can't, nothing stop you from doing that. But I'm trying to remember what I said about the what we're doing is all in the context of a lot of us have been playing for a long time, a lot of past lives, etc. But like with Little Mama, we believe that even a first life tune can be can be a member of a party that's doing high skull Reaper quests and have fun and contribute. And so moving on to Syax, he just wants you to know that he's awesome, and that he's just here for the XP. And myself, most of you know me, but some of you may be newer to my channel. So I have been playing since late 2009. I'm a free-to-play baby. I started playing shortly after it went free-to-play. I got suckered into it and hooked. I avoided MMOs for many years because I knew I have an addictive personality when it comes to games. And it doesn't matter if it's card game, board game, video games, whatever. Like I get sucked into these games. I knew that would happen when I started playing an MMO, and when I started playing DDO, I got hooked right away. And so a month in, I went VIP, and I've been VIP ever since, and I've played solidly that whole time, with the exception of about a 3-month break really early on, just because I was on a road trip. I love DDO, and I love sharing my experiences with others, sharing how to do these quests and how to do these raids with others. My expertise, if you will, is not with builds. I'm not a build kind of person. I'm not a build fanatic. I have these 2 niche builds that I enjoy playing, and they fit my play style. My Ginger Spice Druid build and my Voodoo Warlock build. But my knowledge base is more with like content. I can teach you how to do these raids. I can teach you how to run these quests. But I'm not somebody to take build advice from. So a lot of times people ask me build advice, and I just, that's not me. Especially when you ask me like melee advice. I don't know a damn thing about melee. Take cleave feats. But I'm not a power gamer. I'm somebody who loves this game and plays it a lot, but I'm not like a min-max power gamer. This tune, Ginger Spice, the Druid, is like a very balanced kind of a tune that is capable of filling a variety of roles, whether that's, crowd control or tank or casting DPS or healer. I like to be able to fill all those roles wherever, whatever is needed. And, I mentioned you're going to see me die a lot. Being the tank of the crew, I'm putting myself on the front lines. I'm putting myself taking the brunt of that initial damage, and so I end up dying a lot. But my role here is to grab that initial aggro and let everybody else, vorpal and pew pew from behind while I hold the mobs there. So that's my role. And a lot of times I play the healer role, but in this series I'm just going to be supplementally healing because Nimvin is playing a Radiant Servant Cleric, which is really awesome. One of the things that is changing this life compared to previous lives for me is that I'm not the only caster in the group now. So like we're letting Nimvin get all the the lost souls, whereas I'm used to being able to get them all. But he's doing the healing, so it's all good. Let's see what else. So in this series, we're going to be doing all mid to high skull Reaper quests. In episode 1, we're doing 6 skull Ringleader, so we're keeping it simple, and there'll be some 5 skull quests that we do, and I'm hoping to do at least a couple of 9 skulls. And all these quests, we're going to be doing them sort of, legitimately, if you will. We're not going to be, perching on ledges where nobody can reach us. I'm not saying that, some of the archers aren't going to jump on a ledge from time to time throughout the series, but I'm just saying that's not like what we're all doing to get these higher skulls done. And in every episode, we're going to be doing a skull rating higher than we've ever done for that particular quest. So like with this first one, with Ringleader, for the first few levels of every life, I've typically been soloing or maybe had 1 or 2 people with me. So I'm mostly have been doing these really, really low skulls. Like I think Ringleader I've only ever done on like 1 or 2 skulls. So jumping up to 6 was a pretty big jump, and none of us really knew what to expect. None of us had done Ringleader at level 2 on 6 skulls before. And this is my 10th life, and so I want to bring you guys up to speed. Some of you have watched the Dragonborn series, and you saw me do my first 3 racial lives, and some of you have already commented, like, you have 10 racial pass lives now? How did you get there? Well, that last episode of the Dragonborn project, I actually made that at the end of April 27th, and here we are, it's July 5th. It just took me, I raced through those lives, and, I had all those videos made, and I was only releasing those videos once every 2 to 3 days. And so while that, series was going on, I was actually working through my dwarf lives. And I finished all 3 of my dwarf lives, so I got the point icon there. And then I was not looking forward to my Warforged lives. And I had worked up, a lot of you over the years have commented on how many astral shards I have. Well, I had worked up to like over 7,000. And about a month ago, I saw that somebody had posted a bunch of heroic Odos boxes on the shard exchange for 2,000 each, and I was like, you know what? What else am I going to do with these shards? So I bought 3 of them for 2,000 each, 6,000 shards, and I just boxed past my 3 Warforged lives. So with the 50% XP pot, that took me right to like basically level 19. So I just had to play those 3 Warforged lives from 19 to 20, and just doing those 3 lives 19 to 20, I got like 56,000 Reaper XP. And I'm actually at about 1,000,000 Reaper XP right now. I've been getting, I started out getting a little over 100,000 Reaper XP per life, and then, every life we've been pushing these, how many skulls we've been doing, we've been pushing and pushing our limits. And, worked up to, 110, 120, 130. This last life, I got 175,000 Reaper XP in a 1 to 20 life. Now compare that to, I talked before in the Dragonborn project early on, where my guildie Syax, who's in this crew, when Reaper first came out, he did a 1 to 20 life on Reaper 1 skull, just to see how much experience Reaper XP he would get, and he got about 50,000 Reaper XP in a 1 to 20 life. Compare that to 175,000 when you're doing these higher skulls. It does take longer to do these higher skulls, but, you're going to want that cowbell. You're going to want that Reaper XP. So don't, I mentioned in my recent Reaper Survival Guide Part 2, don't get complacent in the skulls that you're doing. You should be pushing yourself. There's nothing wrong with doing low skulls, but if you're 6 lives in to your Reaper lives, you shouldn't be doing 1 and 2 skulls anymore. You really want to push it where you can. I'm not trying to push you out of your comfort zone, but you want to get that Reaper XP. It doesn't mean you spend 3 hours getting a quest done, but at the same time, if you're just racing through R1s, you're not getting as much Reaper XP, and in the long run, you're going to wish you had done higher skulls so you could get more Reaper XP. So after I boxed the 3 Warforged lives, I then started working on my human lives. And so this series picks up in my 2nd human life. So I'm starting with 3 racial action points, really awesome. Starting with the 2 points of con, 1 from Warforged, 1 from Dwarf, and a point of charisma from the Dragonborn lives. So this is life 11, racial life 11 for me. Only 28 more to go after this. Or 18, excuse me, 18 more to go after this. Alright, let's get to episode 1. I hope you enjoy this series, guys. Alright, here we go, Reaper 6. Normally I do these lobies like myself or maybe one other person, like a lot of times I've been doing Einar or Syax, but like I have very little experience with doing these lobies on anything beyond a few skulls. Okay, we are going to be shortcutting it, guys, so that means straight over the boxes. We can open the shrine room in case we have a mishap. Fear Reaper. My maximized and empowered produce flame hits them for 4. It's ridiculous. Let's get healed up before we leave this room, guys. Everybody's pretty far down. Holy crap. It's really irritating how long that dot hits after the Fear Reaper's dead. You know, I'll say it again, as I've said it so many times before. Every time I do a video, like, everybody just quiets right down.
Yeah, well, I'm having a cigarette. I'll stay quiet for a reason.
Collectible.
It's science as quiet as the shadows he hides in. He's the arrow in the night. It's amazing how different the damage is on an artifact versus a regular card.
Oh, I know.
That's why I love Kobolds. Like, that's that thing about Warlocks and certain casters, is that you don't really have any insta kills at this low level. It looks like we only got one lane.
Whirlpool don't care.
See? Insta kill.
Collectible.
Kobold out here?
That's what I like the baby is, and so you can show it off to people in your video.
Yeah, show what you're using. Show what you're using.
No, I've already meant it. But yeah, that's what I'm using.
I'm using a Vorpal too. It's a little sickle. Vorpal of Double Strike. Double Strike 1.
End game right there. She got eyes to Vorpal.
Plague Reaper, watch out, Meister.
Vegas. He's out to get me.
Meister has a thing for Plague Reapers, or I should say that Plague Reapers have a thing for Meister. I'm gonna die. Yep. I get to be the first death of Reaper life.
I was feeling good for that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't heal when there's a Plague Reaper. There's like a 99% penalty to healing. That's not a whole lot you can do other than kill the Plague Reaper really quick. I guess I could have run away. That probably would have been a smart thing to do.
You heard that, boys and girls? You see a Plague Reaper, you run away. Tell your parents.
I can't reach the shrine. Somebody's gonna have to carry me.
That sounds like a personal problem.
The shrine over here is open.
Oh. You know, it's funny, because I never use these shrines, so I don't know their locations.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Thank you. Maybe we should keep a tally of all of our deaths throughout the whole series.
Oh yeah, the blooper reel.
I'm winning so far.
Looks like you don't count your nibblings yet.
There's strong competition coming up behind you.
Kill the other kobolds first and we'll get the aggression bonus. Or one of those.
Holy crap, he just hit me for 194.
Yeah, no,
2 down. reach the shrine. Yep. Woot! What do we get for that?
429.
Meh.
626.
It was fun, if nothing else. I don't have a pot going right now, so I only got 429.
534.
Well, thanks for watching the first episode of
know
Reaper
the
Life. If you have any questions about my videos, you can respond on YouTube. And I'm looking forward to dying many more times throughout the series. Thanks for watching.